Hello there, I'm Virtual SG, and today we are going to take a little look at a character named Hansel. Now, Hansel has a sister, and her name is Gretel, and this is the forest where they decided to go and explore. Now, what this is page 7 of my comic book, and I guess right away I'm just going to start talking about this concept of thumbnailing for when you've got the story, you've got to thumbnail it. Well, in the digital world, the concept of thumbnailing, there aren't any rules. It doesn't look like anything. You shouldn't have that kind of mindset about thumbnailing in the digital realm. I mean, short of having to present something to somebody else, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this beautiful place you can be where you make a comic book because that's what you feel like doing. So in the digital world, you don't worry about what is the thumbnailing process. You just do it. I am so far away from completing this page, and yet I'm forcing myself to do it because I said I'd finish a comic book, or at least start one, and keep doing it. So I'm thumbnailing. Only some of this, you can see the changes that have taken place already. And I'm used to talking fast because I usually do these. I usually squish them down to 1 minute, but this is about 15 minutes, maybe 14 minutes. Anyway, it is what it is, and I'm coming up with all kinds of ideas. I don't know what to do with this page. It took me 3 weeks to get this page done, but if you think about it from the concept of a person who doesn't make comic books and just decided, oh, that's what I'll do from now on. I'm making experiments with right now as I speak. What is being drawn is an idea for panels way down the road because I'm just getting lost in the process because I have no idea what I'm going to do with this page. I haven't given it any thought. Well, you can see the thoughts. The thoughts are here. You see what I'm trying to do, but you have no idea what I'm actually doing because none of this gets to a point where it's finished. Here I'm thinking like maybe if it looks like a bakery, it'll be nice. So that's what I'm going with there. And then here, right there, what you just saw is me saying, you know what, I'm tired of exploring and trying to figure out what this page is going to be. I think I'll just settle on this idea and start inking and see where I go. Because once you start inking in the digital world, well, they can be turned into sketches at any time and just re-ink it, re-ink it, re-ink it 1,000 times. I'm using the word ink very loosely. It's not ink, it's just digital pixels. So, one thing that is definitely going to be here is cookies and cake and candy, cupcakes, things like that. So that's where this is going right now. And that's what we're looking at. So I'm wrapping my head around, you know, settling on these compositions. But I'm not done making decisions yet, as you will soon see. Because considering I don't know how to really say this. The thing is, I'm not entirely happy with this whole comic that I'm making. Like I'm bulldozing through it. You know what I mean? So here I say, okay, how can I make this house look unique? Like now I'm obsessed with the idea that this can't just look like a slightly nicer version of her house. Long stories, panels back, pages back, referring to her house. So I'm thinking I'll make it look like McDonald's, and I just wasn't. I didn't. Once it was done, I was kind of like, I'm not sure if that's what I want here. If you know the story of Hansel and Gretel, this should basically be a gingerbread house, a house made of sweets and stuff, a gingerbread house. But you know what? The funniest thing is that when I was drawing these pages, I wasn't, my brain didn't know about the gingerbread house part. It just knew about the candy house, that the house was made of candy and frosting and stuff. And I thought, that's ridiculous. I will not do that. So here I am not doing that. But what I settled on was kind of, what I settled on kind of lends itself more to that than what I've got right now. I know that it's wrong now, and I'll get it closer to right in a minute. But that was the thing. I thought of this idea with two doors and stuff so that you could. This was interesting why I did the two doors. It's also interesting that I'm learning to draw horses, but that's another story. But the two doors was an idea for the way the layout is. And now I start to come up with the idea that this carousel thing is important to me. So why don't I make the house look like the carousel? And now I think, okay, now I'm onto something. I've got, like, it looks like I have a concept in mind. You know, the composition is sound or interesting. I don't know. You know, again, I'm really just plowing through the page, just trying to get it done. At some point, they have to come across this witch's house, and it's supposed to be a wonderful thing. It's supposed to be a gingerbread house. I got reminded that it was a gingerbread house long after I settled on this idea that this should be some sort of a treat house. I wanted it to be more like it's a bakery out there with or a fairgrounds or a circus, something. And so, once I hit on this roundness of this house, I said, well, okay, I can work with that. And I love this, but that's not what I settled on. I think what I settled on, see, this isn't right. Well, I think what I settled on was as close to right as you can get without spending another 3 weeks on this page. All right, so I've managed to talk nonstop for about 6 minutes now, and here we are looking at myself perfecting the idea of this little sort of quaint house. Certainly, there's no better word for this than quaint right now. So, mission accomplished. Because what was important was the goodies. The carousel is obviously important. The house needed to look, and here I've got like a bat-like appearance, which might work later on down the lines. If you're familiar with this story, you understand where this could go. Because I'm taking it in weird directions. As you can see, there's not a gingerbread house here. And I'm glad I didn't think of a gingerbread house, which was what I was trying to get at before. I'm glad I did not think of a gingerbread house, but I'm also... Anyway. Yeah, I got something that looks like a pie. Not quite yet with those bat wings for a roof. Not quite. But, so here I decided, okay, got to do the food properly this time. Going to do it for real. Here I'm just experimenting with the realities of drawing in perspective. Something I tend to do kind of intuitively, but sometimes I need to. And then I came up with this idea right here that I liked with the frills under the bat wings, and I thought that might work. And then I said too much busyness is... Anyway, I changed my mind. I had so now at this point I'm literally stopping and leaving this project to study horses. So I'm coming up with horses here. Like this whole merry-go-round, like all of this inking that you're seeing now is over the course of days, not one session. Of course, this whole thing is the course of 3 weeks' work. But we're at the end now. This is it. I'm done making decisions. Well, not quite. I'm going to make a couple more decisions. And I'm going to... I'm going to ram head first into some more perspective. Yeah, there we go. There it is. It's actually fun to establish a perspective and use it. Here I'm doing it again. And the results are quite satisfying. You know, they may not be perfect and all that stuff. I'm not going for perfect. I'm just talking about satisfying. Am I satisfied with this page? Yeah, it does everything I need it to do. The house is quaint, the food looks inviting, etc. Haven't even gotten to color yet. I'm using color to a great extent in this whole story. Whoops. In this whole story, I'm using color to tell the story. Now, I'm not claiming that I actually have any idea what I'm doing. What I'm claiming is that I really need to dial it back. I want to get to the point where I don't have more than 2 or 3 colors in the comics. This was a brilliant idea right at the last moment. What you just saw was me put the crow in there. Now the crow is important to the whole story, but in a very subtle way until you get to the end of the story and realize, oh, that damn crow almost makes... It's a trick that I'm trying to use in storytelling where when you go back and read the story again, the crow, you're in on what the crow means instead of thinking it's just a crow. So I'm wrapping it up and gonna add the color pretty soon. Actually, I got more trees to draw. You know, I'll say this about this point. Here I am at this point. I'm locked in. I'm still making tons of decisions with this merry-go-round and stuff like that. I got to get the trees in there. I don't like drawing trees and bushes and stuff, so you know, I do like it, but I don't like it. On the one hand, it looks like I like it when I'm done, so I guess I had a good time. I guess I'm just running out of things to say. At this point, you're watching me wrap it up. I'm making little decisions about how to make certain things stand out. And, another thing, that I guess I'll mention is that when I complete a page, it goes up on Global Comics. I'm sure there's links to it on my channel or something, so you can see it there if you want. Because I don't think I'm going to show you all the pages in this video, and even so, it wouldn't do it justice, right? Because they'd all be squished in here. Well, I could do a slideshow. I guess I'll do that just for the heck of it. I mean, I've made you sit through all of this. You may as well read it up until this point if you give a crap. You've made it through all this? What's going on now? Let me look. Oh, that's it. I'm done. See, like when I started the trees in the back of the house and stuff, I started out thinking, well, how many times am I going to have to sketch this? But I was on a roll and I got it done. Got it done pretty quick. So now I'm inking everything. And all the inking is done. And the other funny part is when I do color it, the coloring happens very fast. I'll say this really quick. I'm sitting there coloring and coloring, and all of a sudden I realize there's nothing left to color. I've finished the damn thing, and voila, page 7 is now complete. Still got about a minute to go. So it's not complete, but when it does get complete, what I was just saying is exactly what happened when I realized there was no more things to color. I was like, oh, I'm done. It's a funny thing that happens when you're working on a page. Every time you're at the end of when the page is done, you go, oh, I guess I'm done now. Since we are dwelling on this, because this time lapse is still going, I'm using the Craftone color system by True Grit Texture Supply. It's a nifty thing. I'm not using it exactly the way they say I'm not using it exactly the way it was made to be used, but rules are meant to be broken. I still highly recommend, if my recommendation is of any consequence.